Listening, highlight incorrect words, guided practice. Question number 1.
Well, I think part of the solution is all the emerging ways that we can measure and connect our healthcare information. Today, we pretty much live in a reactive, sick care world, siloed information that doesn't flow. We have the potential to move into a more continuous, real-time, proactive world of true healthcare. And part of that starts with the emerging world of quantified self. We can measure so much of our physiology and behaviors today, and often is siloed on our phones and scales, but is starting to connect to our clinicians, our caregivers, so they can better optimize prevention, diagnostics, and therapy.
Here are the answers. So usually you will have 4 or 5 incorrect words, just as in the fill in the blanks you had 4 or 5. So that's about the standard that you get. And I'm sure by now you're very familiar with the method. Skim the text before the audio starts and place your cursor in the beginning. And then as soon as the audio starts, you also start following the text and keep moving the cursor at the same time. Whenever you hear a word which seems different from what's written in the text in the transcript, then you click on the word in the transcript. And it's as simple as that. The next question now.
Let's take a very different example now. The Chicago Teachers Pension Fund, a $10 billion conscious investor. They recently came out hard against private prisons in the US, and good for them. As a new parent, I tell you, I'm troubled by devastating images of young children being ripped out of the arms of their parents at the US border and being placed in private detention facilities that did too little to help the kids maintain contact with their parents.
Here are the answers. Now, if this word conspicuous or any other word, if is new to you, you are not very familiar with, then note down that word. Okay, write down its meaning later on and make sure that you come up with a couple of sample sentences in which you can use those words. So always with each question, your goal should be to learn something to become better. Let's go to the next question.
In Argentina, there's a program where we connect students who are in rural, remote, hard-to-reach mountainous communities with something they've seldom seen, a secondary school teacher. So these students come to a classroom, they're joined by a community teacher, and they're connected to urban schools online. And there is a secondary school teacher who is teaching them about digital technology and a good secondary school education without them ever having to leave their own communities.
Here are the answers. Now the last question in this practice session.
And what about fear? I think fear is complex and personal. I really think it has to do with curiosity and not taking yourself so seriously. We might need to get a little hurt, just not too hurt. And pain, redefine it. Rather than pain, say another rather interesting foreign sensation. Something like that.
And here are the answers. So as you can see, this was a short audio and the text, it is much smaller than some of the other questions that you have seen. And that is how it will be in the exam as well. There will be some texts which are long, some texts you will find which are of medium length or which are small. So practice with a variety of different questions. And in your test software, that's how we have built the question bank. It contains a mix of different questions so that you get the best possible practice materials for your exam.